I am so confused right now. My mind has just exploded. Hey, it's Mel. I hope you're doing well. In today's video, we're going to be talking about something that has piqued my interest quite a bit. I cannot explain it, it's very odd. In today's video, we're going to be talking about an author who predicted the sinking of the Titanic 14 years before it even happened. This is really interesting yet really creepy. I hope you like this video, and also I'll leave my Insta down below as usual. With that said and done, let's get into today's video. So I'm sure we're all pretty familiar with the sinking of the Titanic and what happened. And for some reason, if you're not familiar with the story of the Titanic or what happened, you've probably seen it on a movie poster, a book, probably learned about it in school, or even seen the Titanic movie that we're all familiar with. Before we talk about this author's prediction of the Titanic, let me just talk about what happened to the Titanic just to make it fresh in your head. Now, the Titanic went down as one of the most famous disasters of all time. The ship that was deemed unsinkable was the RMS Titanic ocean liner. The ship hit an iceberg and sunk in the early morning hours of the 15th of April, 1912 in the North Atlantic Ocean. There was around 2,240 passengers on board, and it took fully 2 hours to sink. There was 20 lifeboats on board the ship, and the ship fully sank at 2:20 a.m. This ocean liner was described as the Ship of Wonders. The inside of the ship was described as a 5-star hotel. Around this time in 1912, it was truly an honour to be on board the Titanic. It was a ship that everyone was talking about. Like I said before, the ship itself was deemed unsinkable. However, it would sink, taking many lives down with it. Now let's talk about the prediction of the Titanic. A book published in 1898 called Wreck of the Titan or Futility was written by author Morgan Robertson way before the Titanic was even designed. The book itself is about an ocean liner called the Titan that was deemed unsinkable and was very luxurious and big. It had incredible speed. In April, around midnight in the North Atlantic Ocean, the Titan hit an iceberg and ended up sinking. Sound familiar? Because the Titan was described as unsinkable, there was not enough lifeboats on board, which caused many deaths. If you'll recall, on the 15th of April, the Titanic hit an iceberg and sunk, also in the North Atlantic Ocean. Right off the bat, the names of the two ships are very similar, Titanic and Titan. Both ships were British steel vessels. The length of the Titan was 800 feet and the length of the Titanic was 882 feet. The speed of the Titan hitting the iceberg was at 25 knots, and the speed of the Titanic hitting the iceberg was at 22.5 knots. Both ships were able to hold up to 3,000 passengers. Both were considered unsinkable due to their watertight compartments. Now, the watertight doors on the Titanic would automatically close if any water had flooded the area. The Titan also had automatically closing doors too. Bear in mind that Morgan published his book in 1898 when automatic doors were not even like a thing yet. Both the Titan and the Titanic did not have enough lifeboats on board. After the sinking of the Titanic, when people came across Morgan's book, they couldn't help but notice the odd similarities between the two ships. And when Morgan was questioned about this, his response was that he just had a lot of knowledge on ships. He had done research on ships for his book, and he also grew up as a cabin boy, and his dad was a captain. Morgan claimed to have known that something like this would happen. Therefore, he wrote about it in his book. Morgan denies that his book is about the Titanic. Morgan Robertson died in Atlantic City at age 53 in 1915 on the 24th of March, 4 years after the sinking of the Titanic. It was believed that Morgan died of an overdose. No one can fully explain how Morgan predicted the sinking of the Titanic, even though he said over and over again that his book was not about the Titanic. You cannot deny that there are some uncanny similarities between the Titanic and the Titan. There was speculation that Morgan was a psychic. First of all, if that gift exists and you're a person that can see the future, don't tell me. Keep that information to yourself, thank you. There was also claims that Morgan was a time traveller. I'm going to go out on a whim and say that's probably not true. I'm just going to say that this is pure coincidence, or in a way it's life imitating art. Some people believe that the Titanic was sunk on purpose. Whatever the case may be, Morgan Robertson is now known as the man who predicted the sinking of the Titanic 14 years earlier. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye.